just had this real strong, just really emotional sense, just waking up, surprised by it. And I believe God wanted to say, I want to break your mindset. I want to break a mindset off of you. And the Bible says that our warfare is against principalities, but it has to do with arguments in the mind, strongholds in the mind.
Yes.
And money is not an issue with God itself. Our mindset and what it can do to our thinking is something that He cares about. Because we go through a whole lot of misery that we don't need to go through.
Yes.
And it ages the body of Christ. It ages the people of God. It wears the people of God out. And so God doesn't want to take away money. In fact, the opposite. He wants to add to us. But our relationship to it and what happens between us and money is of critical importance to Him. Even though money is one of the lesser blessings, nonetheless, it has dramatic impact on us. So we're going to look at money because He wants to free us today and begin to free our mindset. I'll finish this next week, but we'll start today. Luke 16, no one can serve two masters. It's interesting that money is compared to a master in competition with God, who is a master. Now, if God's your master, He's a good master. Nobody has ever served a master like Him and come away not blessed and better for it. You get freer, you get richer, in every way you get stronger when God's your master. Now, it contrasts money to God and says money is a competing master. So if God is a wonderful, good, blessed master that frees you, what do you think money does when it's your master? See, money's a fine servant. You can utilize it, but it's a merciless master. It's a cruel master. It hurts you. It slaves you when it's your master. When it tells you who to marry, when to marry, where to live, when it begins dictating to you the direction of your life, where do you go to church, all of these things, money is not your master. Every once in a while I think it's good to be able to talk like that out loud. Money is not my master. You know, I'm serving the Lord. And so it says you will either hate the one and love the other. Interesting expressions. See, I was thinking about this week. But loving money, what is that? Well, I just like all the goodies that I can get. And no, it's far more than that. Money represents, if you can think of it this way, it represents self-dependency. It is what God gives us grace, but money is what we earn. It is earned. And it does, before people, give us an appearance of value. Money it's not the law. You know, the law, it's based on self-dependency. But money, if we're loving it, that's another way of saying you are not believing in God right now when you love money, because you're loving it because you're depending on it, and that means you're working to lift yourself up. You're depending on your own effort. You're depending on your own work. And so that's really the problem with money, is the bottom line of money is self-dependency. I can work my way into a better life, better existence, and quality of life. Or you'll be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money. The Pharisees who loved money heard all this and were sneering at Jesus. Isn't that a funny picture? You know, whether it's ministries today, contemporary ministries, where... See, I don't want to pick on ministries or politicians or people. I think this is nearly a universal mindset.
Yes.
And we're going to look at today what that mindset is, why it's so cruel, what it does to us, and it's not the money, it's the mindset. We'll look at that. But why that mindset hurts us. And God is tired of having His woman carrying that kind of load. He wants to get that load off of her. And but it's an idea that is so far removed from the church, but there's a lot in the Bible about it. If you think of Jesus, his death was triggered by the second trip into the temple, cleaning it out and turning over the coins. And what you have in Jesus is the one person. There are many people that had faith in those days, but Jesus had the perfect faith. And so he had a way of looking at life and looking at God that was totally God dependent. And he didn't look to the north, south, east, or west. He looked to God for everything. But that was in violent opposition to the other mindset that had the other master that the Pharisees had, and that is, we need the money. And in that case, Jesus violated them. He was actually, his mindset was coming against theirs. His faith was coming against their pride. When he turned over the source of their confidence, which is their money. Now the Bible says that immediately they went out from there and began to plot to kill him. So he pulled a trigger in that second visit to the temple. Once when he started his ministry, and right at the end of the ministry, he turned over the money changers' tables. That motivated them to kill him. But then it says, right after that he was having his feet washed by this lady, and she was offering up a whole year's worth of wages in the perfume being put on his feet. $50,000 in our terms, $60,000, whatever, a year's worth of wages, dumping on his feet. It says that the disciples, led by Judas, who carried the money bag, severely rebuked her. They didn't just rebuke her, they were angry, severely rebuking her for wasting the money. And Jesus severely rebuked Judas and defended the woman in that case. It says, then immediately following that, Judas went out to betray Jesus. Money was the catalyst that got the Jesus haters motivated to kill him. Money was the catalyst that got Judas to meet the other money people. That money person joined up with these money people, and they conspired to kill Jesus. Money triggered them both. Then when Jesus was betrayed, Judas throws the money, realizes, man, I'm in deep trouble, throws the money back into the temple, and they kill Jesus, they bury Jesus, he's raised from the dead, and they don't want anybody to know, so they're trying to cover it all up, what's going on, so they pay the soldiers more money. Can you see how money was right in the middle of the process all along? It motivated them to kill him, it executed the killing, and then it was part of a cover-up afterwards. All of that's money. 1 Timothy 6. If we have food and clothing, we will be content with that. Now, if I just stopped there today, then that would kill a lot of us. We'd go, oh, I don't think I can do that. You know, isn't that something? We'll look at that because there's a solution to all of this. There is an escape. And God will help us get into a better mindset that is one without the misery and the pain that comes with a love for money, a self-dependency. See, if we can believe God for our righteousness, and it's not by works, it's by faith. Let me tell you, the same principle works for the whole life that God has given us. We can believe God for our money.
Yes, we can.
And it's not by works, it's by faith.
Amen.
Now, some people, that's such a distant thought, it will cause you to sneer. That's a joke. You know, you can't be serious. But God wants to relieve you of being self-dependent when it comes to money. And he wants to teach us how to believe him when it comes to money. If we have food and clothing, we will be content with that. The word content just means we'll be able to say it's enough. That's enough. It comes from the word archeo, which means to be strong. I'm okay. It's like somebody falling, jump up, I'm okay. We have food and clothing, we just jump and go, we're fine. We're going to make it. Now there's a way to get there that we'll see here in the next few minutes. Those who want to, for those who it's not okay to have food and clothing, I must have something more. Then it says, those who want to get rich fall into temptation, this is progressive, and then a trap, and into many foolish and harmful desires that plunge people into ruin and destruction. How many can say, I'm a witness to that truth, I've been there, I've done that, I've fallen into that trap? For not money is not the issue here, the love of it, the dependency on it, is a root of all kinds of evil. Now, I used to always hear, well, that means you'll do all sorts of bad things. You'll cheat and steal and lie and gamble. It'll do all kinds of evil. But the word evil also means the idea of injury, damage, harm. That the love of money, love money, I don't know if you could relate to that, but it just has to do with our mentality toward it, a wrong mentality toward it. It's the cause of all sorts of hurt. It's a world of pain. Some people, eager for money, have wandered from, and the word the, if you study the Greek, the could be added, they add it, could be there or not. Have wandered from the faith, but that sounds like this theology for me, so I'll take that out. Has wandered from faith. They have wandered from faith. It's faith or serving this master over here. And have pierced themselves with many griefs. Isn't that something? Solomon learned some things about this. Ecclesiastes chapter 10 or 5. Whoever loves money, again, we're not dealing with money. We're dealing with the attitude. Something that hurts us. Something that makes it hard to live. Whoever has this attitude toward money that's wrong, never has enough. See, so he's not talking about little money, or he's talking to poor people here, he's talking to rich people here, he's talking to somebody that doesn't have enough money for lunch today, and he's talking to millionaires that don't know what to do with all their money. He's talking to anybody in any condition in life. He's talking to humanity about their attitude toward this thing called money. And it doesn't matter if you have it, or it doesn't matter if you have a lot of it. Whoever loves money never has enough. If you have this attitude, it leaves you in perpetual pain. Whoever loves wealth is never satisfied with their income. As goods increase, so do those who consume them. The more you eat, the bigger your stomach gets. The more you eat, the more they consume, the larger they become. They buy this house, they buy this lot, and they buy this car, and the more they buy, the more they have to buy, and the larger they become. When God gives somebody wealth and possessions, so again, he's not against giving people wealth and possessions here. When God gives somebody wealth and possessions and the ability to enjoy them.
Right. Amen.
But it's more than, oh, let's go have a party. He's talking about more than being a pleasure hunter. But he gives them the ability to enjoy what they've got, to accept their lot, and be happy in their toil. Now, he's not telling poor people just tough it out. He's not saying that. He's talking to rich people here. But and there are rich people that cannot accept their lot. Can you accept your lot? Well, I don't have a lot. Well, accept it. No, can you accept your lot and be happy in their work? This is a gift of God. They seldom reflect on the days of their life because God keeps them occupied with gladness of heart. On the other hand, God gives some people wealth, possessions, and honor. So he does. We're not talking about being poor. God gives some people wealth, possessions, and honor so that they lack nothing their hearts desire. But God does not grant them the ability to believe in Him with all the stuff He's given them. He does not grant them the ability to enjoy their lot. This is meaningless, a grievous evil. Isn't this interesting stuff? God gets so real sometimes. A man may have 100 children. That was prosperity in those days. And live many years. Not in these days, huh? 100 kids? And many years. And yet, no matter how long he lives, if he cannot be content, enjoy his prosperity, I say that a stillborn child is better off than he. Though it never saw the sun or knew anything, it has more rest, contentment, peace than does that man. Even if he lives 1,000 years twice over, but fails to enjoy his prosperity. How can God try to be graphic so that our minds begin to... You can have 100 children. You can live 1,000 years twice over, the richest person on the face of the earth. But if you cannot rest, he says, I feel sorry for you. It would have been better that you didn't even get born. Isn't that amazing? It's interesting that the people of faith, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, fathers of faith, Abraham, he was very wealthy, quote unquote, exceedingly prosperous, quote unquote. Isaac, very wealthy, exceedingly prosperous. Jacob, very wealthy, exceedingly prosperous. Joseph, very wealthy, exceedingly, there's a reason. Now, and he's not talking about money. He's talking about when there is faith, there is abundance, because we have a generous God.
Amen.
Amen.
The people of God that know how to walk with God will be blessed. Now, under law, that blessing was you obey completely, and you will be blessed, which means you're abundantly supplied. But if you disobey, you'll be cursed, which means you will lack greatly. Deuteronomy 28, right? Isn't that the formula, Old Testament? Obey, blessed, rich. Disobey, cursed, poor. Deuteronomy 28. That's the way it works. Now we're under a new covenant. And it's not obey into the blessing of God, it's believe. Those that believe are blessed. So under the old covenant, these people of faith were blessed. Abundantly so. Then Egypt represents unbelief, which represents, the word Egypt itself, it means doubly restricted. It's the straits, meaning tight pressure. A strait is between two bodies of waters, a narrow channel. It's double straits is what the word Egypt itself means, doubly restricted. And the word Ephraim, on the other hand, this is the son of Joseph. Ephraim means doubly fruitful. Doubly fruitful. So when they're in Egypt, they're in this poor, enslaved, unbelieving state. They are brought out of Egypt into the wilderness. At least they have survival rations. They're not slaves anymore, but they have belief mixed with unbelief. They have doubt going on. Finally, they get into the land of the promise, and the rest is the faith, is the abundance. When you're in the rest, you're in belief, you're in abundance. Right? Is that the picture that it gives? So Ephraim is in there, but when they're in this place of faith, they begin to take pride in what they have and what they possess. God said, don't. Once you're in there, remember, I did it. It's not your hands. Hosea 12, Ephraim boasts, I am very rich, I have become wealthy. With all my wealth they will not find in me any iniquity or sin. Isn't that interesting? And I just want to say this regarding natural wealth. It makes us look good. Having a lot of money, they must be doing something right. Look at their car. Look at their clothes. Look at their house. Yeah, you're right. I am smart. I work hard. You know, they don't see my iniquity and sin when I can dress myself up real nice. Do you understand? It's a natural thing. We need to watch out for that. Money, the love of money, or pride in our money, has to do with self-dependency and is not faith any longer. So, Jeremiah says this, let not the wise boast of their wisdom. This is a beautiful passage. Or the strong boast of their strength, or the rich boast of their riches. But let the one who boasts boast about this, that they have the understanding to know me. I'll go ahead and finish up the scripture and tell you that I am the Lord. Just not know me, but that I am the Lord, who exercises, now get this, there were three. Wisdom, strength, riches, mine. But now God comes back with another three. That I am. You think you're wise, you think you're strong, you think you're rich. But if you know me, you know I am kind. The word here is chesed. It's the word grace. That I have grace. You may think you're wise, you're strong, you're rich, and boast in that. But if you knew me, you knew that I have chesed. I have loving kindness. I have grace. 2, justice. 3, righteousness. On earth, for in these I delight. In other words, you can boast in your wisdom, your strength, your riches. But I am a God of grace. Justice was handled on the cross with Christ, and I have given out righteousness. And if you knew that, you would know me. And you would not boast in anything else but that you know me. And this week, I was, again, contemplating these things. And it just felt good all week long to go, Jesus. And I was just going, Jesus, you're my righteousness.
Amen.
And I'm doing this because a lot of times I'm praying to a God up there, which is, you can do that. But every once in a while I need to acknowledge more of the God here. You know, isn't that an interesting verse that says, don't go to a neighbor's house far away when there's a brother far away when there's a neighbor next door. You know? And you can talk to God in heaven. I don't mean that. But I think we need to be built up in our understanding of God inside. So I was saying, God, you made me right. You are. And every once in a while, even his righteousness is like something he threw our way. But no, you are. You are my righteousness. And have you ever gotten into a tired spell and you can't seem to get out of it? You can't take enough NyQuil. You can't take enough naps. And so the last 2 months or so, I was just getting more and more tired. And you don't want to say so because you don't want to talk yourself into more tiredness. But finally you get so tired that you have to give some explanation. That's because I'm tired, you know. And so that was going on and on and on. And so all of a sudden, God began to speak to me about these things. Bob, I'm your strength. Okay. No. I'm your strength. I am the strength of your what? Life. Living. Getting up in the morning, going to bed at night, getting things done. I am the strength of your life. Now, it's okay if you take naps, and it's okay. The NyQuil thing, anyway, I won't get into that. Whatever. It's okay. But I'll tell you, once I started going just between me and God, God, you are my strength. You are my strength. You are my strength. You're the strength of this life. You're my youth. You're my health. You're my joy. You're my peace. All of that kind of thing. I started going to sleep. Oh, can I tell you, sleep and naps, it's okay. But if you depend on those things, that is my strength. Then you start, I got to go to sleep tonight. I got to be to bed by 10, and I got to, because I'm so tired, and I got to get some rest. And then you can't go to, then you wake up in the middle of the night, and then you can't take a nap the next day, and you're just, what happens is it's like money. You end up depending on your ability. You turn rest into a work. You're working so hard to rest, you can't rest. And you're not rest isn't coming out of your faith in Him, it's coming out of your ability to take another nap. Honestly. Everything in our life works this way, including money.
Yes.
If it doesn't come out of faith, it's not divinely empowered.
Amen.
Don't start with your work, even with rest. Start with your faith.
Amen.
With righteousness, don't start with your work, start with your faith. With rest, don't start with your work, start with your faith. With money, don't start with your work, start with your faith. Right. People sell their souls to get another job for money. And they pierce themselves. Start with your faith. Amen. Oh, one more little nugget. How are we doing, Kim? Okay, one more little nugget is my hair's been turning gray this year. And when I sweep it back, all the glory is revealed. But there's a verse in the Bible, and there's more angles to the Bible than we know. There's a verse that says that the white, hoary head, the gray hair, it's the glory. It's the glory. Now that might seem, okay, that's very comforting. But what if? What if it's not this way in the natural, but what if in God that you're reaching your glory days? You're reaching the days where I have, in my purposes, I've caused you to shine. These are the glory years. I believe that. I believe that. So He is my strength. He's my vitality. You are my youth. You are my rest. So I don't have to go to bed at 10 o'clock. I don't have to take a nap. I can afford to get tired during the day, and I feel more rested than I have for months.
Yes.
Because He's my rest. Okay. So Hebrews 13. Keep your lives free from the love of money, your dependency on it, and be content with what you have, because this is how it happens. God has said, never will I leave you. Never will I forsake you. Before Him, we are less than little babies as far as, we're just as, He loves us so much. If we knew how rich He is, if we knew how He loves to lavish His generosity on undeserving people,
Yes.
and we knew how much He really loved us, and that righteousness has made it all possible. Paul got to a point where he said, doesn't matter. I have had a lot, and I've had nothing, and it doesn't affect me. Because I depend on Him taking care of me. And He blesses me. Folks, we don't need money, we need faith. We don't need another nap, we need faith. So we, what?
Say.
Yeah, let's read it together. So we say with confidence. Now, before I go on, I've told you the story, I won't go into detail, but after a year of preaching grace, believing in grace. Mona finally, in her sweet way, says, Bob, I love it. I have more peace and joy than I've had in years. Everything's wonderful, except when do the blessings start on the outside? They're going on the inside. When do they start out here? Because we were still in dire straits, you know. And right about that time, I mean, it was pathetic. It was sad. And so, but we had joy and peace. That was good. So, but just as a joke one day, I think she started out, she said, just because it was funny, she said, we have more money than we know what to do with. We're so rich. We are so rich. You know, we weren't into the redundant, kind of repetitive as a formula confession thing. So this is kind of a joke. We're so rich. And it just hit us so funny because we were so not, that we started crying. We were laughing so hard we were crying. But the joke kind of stuck. And so for weeks we just started saying, you wouldn't believe how much money we have. We are so wealthy. That we were with her family for lunch, and we got so into this that honestly they were, who's going to pay the bill? I said, I will. We have more money than we know what to do. Now they knew it wasn't true. They looked at me and Mona and hit me and said, Bob, they were thinking crazy. We went out about that time, we went shopping, and now I'm telling you, God was doing something here. We didn't even know He was doing something. God was doing something. We went shopping, and she saw a scarf, and it was at Leavenworth, and some of those shops, a scarf could be. Yeah. So she looks at that, and she said, I like that scarf. Three reallys means this is important. Our relationship's on the line. So I really like this scarf. Now, in my best moments, in response to that, what I normally do is I'd go to the tag, I would look at the cost, and I'd say, okay. Literally, this is true. For the first time in my life, I said, get it, Mona. And I wasn't trying to, I did it without thinking. It caught me by surprise. Get it, Mona. And then I realized I didn't look at the tag. I didn't look at it. I said, get it. Now, that was a big deal for me. Then we went to another store, and we got into it. You know, I go from store to store saying, get it, Mona, get it. And it really had nothing to do with her. It just felt so good in me. I was free. I was free. I know we're laughing, but I was free. Something happened on the inside. And I'm not saying this is a trick or formula, but right then our circumstances began to change. And the blessings began to appear on the outside. So we say with confidence, say it with me, the Lord is my helper, I will not be afraid. What can mere mortals do to me? Right?
Yes.
Why mere mortals? Because Mona was talking about, if God Himself justifies me, then who can condemn me? Well, a lot of people do. But if God says I'm just, they're nothing. Who are they? And if God helps you, who cares what people do? What are you going to say then?
Just really quick, we never tell the story, but right after that, when we were getting the revelation of, we own everything. God's given it to us all. And I told a few people, but not everybody. Years ago, before that, we had lost our house. We bought a home, and some extra money that from the sale of our old house, we invested in, with our friend, in a building. That's what he did. He would invest, right? Am I saying this right? So and we really trusted him. He was a money guy. He knew how to make money. He was integrous, and we trusted him. We said, okay. So I think we gave him about $50,000 or something. And he invested in this building. A lot of people did that. Well, it was right before the crash, and it all went away. It all went away. The guy had bankruptcy and everything, and then we ended up losing our house, and long story. And then, but you know, for honest to God, we didn't care. Like, that's okay. It was just money. You know, really, it's no big deal. And we never said anything to this man. I said, that's okay. Don't worry about it. Things happen. We understand. Well, shortly after we were getting this revelation, this is years later, this guy calls us. And he said, I have two options for you. I want to give you some very expensive artwork or some property. I want to pay that back. And we said, no, you don't have to, but okay. And so, you know, I picked the art purposely because I wanted to see it with my eyes around me. I wanted to get used to seeing wealth around me.
Yes.
And it wasn't necessarily my taste then, but now I love it.
Yes.
And we have all this expensive art, but that was this happened years ago, and then all of a sudden when we were getting this revelation, that happened. Isn't that cool?
Thank you, honey. In closing, 2 Corinthians 8, last verse. You know the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ. Do you know the grace of our Lord? Do you know the grace? Do you think you know it?
Yes.
Did you know it? That though he was, what's the word? Rich. Yet for your sake he became poor, so that you through his poverty might become rich.
Yes.
He became sin. I gained his righteousness. He became sick. I gained his health. He became poor. See, God doesn't hold poverty up as some great thing. He's doing okay. But he became poor so that you could be richly blessed in every way. Let's begin to trust him, okay? Let's begin to be less self-dependent when it comes to money and begin to believe in the one who is so rich that loves us so much. Can we do that? Amen. Let's give Jesus a hand.